Hello and welcome to the Rev It Up podcast, helping entrepreneurs fill up their tanks, crank up the RPMs, and put the pedal to the metal until they cross that finish line. Hello, I'm Jess Tiffany. Ready, set, go. Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of the Rev It Up podcast. I have another amazing guest, and this is Rebecca. Rebecca Rausch is the chief lizard and founder of Neon Lizard Creative Marketing and Design, just south of Minneapolis. Designer since the age of 12, Rebecca has worked in many design service fields until she went out on her own as a freelancer back in 1998 and started Neon Lizard Creative, now an agency of 9. Collectively, the NLC International team of designers has over 100 years of experience and contains designers, color theorists, a variety of specialists, and much, much more. They serve as a comprehensive design team helping businesses just like yours build a consistent brand that is not only memorable, but causes people to fall in love with your business. Naming, branding, marketing, social, catalog, trade shows, plus NLC serves as your marketing hub. Welcome to the show, Rebecca. How are you this fine day?
I am doing great. It's always good to see you. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I'm just glad that you're here with us today. And so you got to tell me, how did you come up with that amazing lizard that's your logo? It's so colorful and just really draws attention.
Oh, that's actually a piece of art I saw years ago, and I grabbed it and I kept it. And I was able to use it when I decided to start my business. Well, actually, it was after that, but yeah. So it's a piece of art I found. It's sadly I can't say I did that myself. I wish I
Okay.
could.
Well, it does really draw the eye, and it really stands out on paper, print, on
Yeah,
websites,
it's a good
anywhere you
little
put it.
mascot. It's a good little
Absolutely.
mascot.
So tell us a little bit about, kind of your, well, before we get too far into this, could you tell us where to find you and how to track you down online?
NeonLizardCreative.com. You can find us. You can get us. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me everywhere. I'm just all over the place.
Fantastic. So make sure you go to neonlizardcreative.com and look at the portfolio of all the amazing work that Rebecca and her team have done. And so tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. Obviously, you said you started designing at a young age and then that kind of progressed. And how did you kind of make that transition?
Well, I started designing at age 12. I fell in love with design watching Darren Stevens on Bewitched, and that's what he did. So all through high school, I was doing the cheerleading posters and all that kind of stuff, and I just loved it. Everything about it I love. And so I ended up going to college at 16, graduating at 20. My first creative director job when I was 23. From there, I worked at sign companies, print companies, corporate companies, big agencies, small agencies, all over the place, because I wanted to really find my niche. You know, what did I feel best in? And I found I felt really great in branding. And so I kind of realized one day when I was working for an agency that I was doing all the work and running the agency, and my boss was out drinking every day. So I thought, you know what, I can do this on my own.
Thanks.
And I did, and it was pretty scary, but it was a great jump. And as they say, unless you try, you don't fail. You haven't done anything right. So I mean, I went out and I didn't fail. It was shocking, and here we are, 23 years later, and still rocking and rolling. It's awesome.
That is an amazing story. And what's like one of the early struggles you went through when you made that decision to go out on your own? Maybe some sort of some learning curve you had to go through.
The learning curve. Well, my husband was just getting ready to graduate from DeVry. So my biggest learning curve was how to be a business person. I have always been a servant heart. That's just who I am. And so learning how to actually charge people was hard for me. Learning how to say no. I didn't know how to say no. I'm still not very good at that, to be honest. Don't take advantage of me. But yeah, that was probably my biggest learning curve is learning how to set those boundaries and deliver in a way that was more than other people. I've evolved over time from being the logo designer to the full brand to now the full marketing as well. And that's been a very fun evolution because I can't stop learning. I love it. There's just so much out there to learn from, So
And can I have a loan, by the way?
alone?
I was testing if you could say no or not. So
No, you can't.
okay, darn. All right.
All
So
my money's going back in the business.
So, so what's the secret to kind of making that transition into branding? What's kind of your secret sauce to the branding experience?
I am a big believer that the brand is not just a logo. Back in the day, a brand was essentially just the logo. You slapped it on stuff and everybody called it the brand. You threw little colors with it. And, oh, your brand's matchy, matchy. Good, that's awesome. That's not a brand. Your brand is your values, your why, your differentiator, your position in the market, who you serve, all those things. And it's also how you treat people and how you treat your employees and how the guy drives the truck. I mean, everything that is perceived of you, of your brand, your reputation, all of that is your brand. And you should know most of that, if not all of that, before you even do a logo. The logo is a representation of your brand, an icon to show your brand, but it's not your brand. We're not cows. We don't slam it onto stuff. We have to actually curate something that is bigger than yourself. And a lot of it has to do with having the heart for service. And when you have that heart for service, then that comes out into your marketing. I think you and I were just talking about my story of my grandma's rolls. I put a little video out the other day about my grandma, and she had these rolls that were just to die for. Oh my gosh, they were just these beautiful little bundles of buttery goodness, and I can't even begin to tell you how great they were. I've never been able to make them. I've never had another one like them, and they were fantastic. But she was so strict about her recipe. It was crazy that, the temperature had to be just right for all the ingredients and this, that, and the other. And that's kind of like the brand. You shouldn't do your logo and stuff until your brand is really, really strong. You know exactly what you're going to do and go forward and what you represent. Then you do the logo. Then you do the supplementary materials that support that. And that is what you take little parts off and you put out into the world. Because once you have built that really great foundation, then people are intrigued by that. And that's what you use small pieces of to entice them and create essentially a breadcrumb trail, shall we say, across the internet, and entice them to go from one place to the other until you get them where you want them to go. And that's what marketing is. It's two completely different entities.
Wow. And that was actually going to be my next question. The difference between branding and marketing. Do you have any additional?
I can't help but go there. I'm passionate about both.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people, there's a lot of parts of marketing. There's different ways of marketing. From doing social media, doing paid, doing, email drip campaigns, all that kind of good stuff. There's a million ways of doing the marketing. But unless you have something to market well, something that entices people to begin with, such as grandma's rolls, as I use as a metaphor, nobody's going to follow it. Nobody's going to go from one to the other unless you give them value and give them a reason to. And so it's all intertwined. It's kind of a scary little thing because it is so intertwined. It's hard to extricate them one from the other because they're both so important. But the foundation is the number one part.
Would you say that's the biggest mistake that most people do during branding, or is there other areas that are even more egregious?
I think there's two. I think number one, the biggest thing is they don't realize the importance of branding. And if you do not build, like I said, I feel like a broken record, but I am an evangelist for this stuff. If you don't build it right, it's just not gonna go. And so you need to build it right coming out of the gate, not just 20 years later or 10 years later. If you build it right coming out of the gate, you instantly have credibility. You instantly look like $1 million. We have an automotive client who, during COVID, started his own business, and he wasn't having a lot of luck. And he spoke to a friend of ours, and they referred him to us. He's going to pull $1 million this year.
Mm.
And he's a single guy doing this automotive stuff because he came out of the gate looking like he had been around for 20 years. And he's got a better marketing plan, and he's out in the market more than anybody else, even some of the really big dogs. And he is rocking and rolling because he did it right off the bat. And that's really important. And what is the second one? The second one is thinking that when you're a designer, oftentimes we get really caught up in just our client. What does our client want? But that client doesn't matter. Really. I know that sounds rude, but it really is the client's client that matters. They are the ones that need to like and respond, because then that makes the client successful. And the same thing for that client. When they do something for someone, they need to learn how to think of that client's client, because we're all of healing and serving someone else.
Okay. So, so how do you kind of bridge that gap between, the wants of the company, the desires of the clients, and how do you kind of like put all those pieces together to create that unified marketing message, or unified branding, I should say?
That's a really great question. We have a couple different methods. One of them we call the Heart Principle, and we start off with a really deep dive marketing strategy meeting. It takes about an hour, hour and a half or so to go through it. And in the process of that, we really discover who that client can serve best. And once we know who that client is, and you know me, I did this with you another time. I don't like avatars. I don't like personas. I don't like those verbs or nouns, those definitions of people. I think people are people. And if you look at your clients that you currently have, you're going to see people that you love to work with. You just love working. You can't wait when they call. You get so excited. They always pay on time. They appreciate you. They listen to what you have to say, and they ask you what they need rather than telling you what they want. It is more of a relationship than a transaction. And once you have those people in your world and you're able to rock their world because you do what they need the best, then they're very happy, you're very happy, and life is all roses and bubblegum. So that's a really key thing to me is knowing, if you know the client and you know who they can serve best, there's always those overlaps because most people are attracted to people like themselves.
Hey everybody, Jess here. What if I could help your company find over $100,000 in hidden revenue streams in less than an hour without spending an extra dime on advertising or marketing? Reach out to me at cardzap.thebumpcard.me. Check out the video on 5 Steps to Profit, and also reach out and we can have a conversation. Thank you.
Right on. Well, that's powerful. And one thing it kind of made me think of is, and this is kind of a little obscure from the topic, but you had that ugly logo contest.
Yeah.
And it was like just a massive change. And do you have any other examples like that where there's like a really like a big change in how it affected the company?
I actually did a page of them the other day, before and afters, and I've got it hidden on my website, but if anybody's interested in seeing them, they're welcome to shoot me a note at Rebecca@neonlizardcreative.com, and I'll be happy to share that page with them. But yeah, I show the befores and the afters. One gentleman in particular, love his heart, he had been in his home office for 30 years. He had been trying for 30 years to get out of his home office. This is, of course, before COVID. And he had been wanting to grow larger, and one of our other clients had referred us. And he had the ugliest little thing. He'll tell you the same thing. He had the ugliest little lighthouse logo, hand-drawn lighthouse logo. It was terrible. And we rebranded him, and within the year, he had moved into a brick and mortar. Within 2 years, he had spread to 3 cities. He sold it, started another company, which we branded. He built it, he sold it. Then he built another company.
Wow.
Which we branded, and he built it up. And he just recently retired. He's still doing it kind of on the side, but that's Village Tile Resources, if anybody's interested, villagetileresources.com. I think he might, I don't know if the website's still up, but it's on our website. You can see it. But yeah, it turned out to be beautiful. And he swears up and down and backwards it was the branding, because before the branding, he did not have the clientele that he needed. He just didn't have the credibility. Your branding, your marketing, your branding is the clothing of your business. If you show up in surf shorts and a scruffy beard and unwashed, nobody wants to do business with you. You know? But if you show up in a tux, yeah, you're a lot more respected right off the bat. And that's kind of what people need to think about. How am I presenting my company? And does it represent who I really am?
Excellent. That's true. I think I kind of use an example on my one of my presentations about this website called Photo Feeler, and they basically you upload pictures for social media, and they can kind of vote on how influential or confident you look. And it's, I had like 4 different pictures on there, and same person, but when I updated with the nice pictures with me dressed nice, professional photography, all of a sudden the influential ratings, went into the 8s and 9s out of 10s versus the 5s when I just had just a regular picture. And it just really
I remember fussing at you about your regular picture, telling you need to go talk to Dan.
Yes, Dan did a great job taking my pictures. So
yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And Dan's at anthology.com if you're listening to this. So make sure you check that out. Anthology.
Yeah, he's great.
But yeah, it really does make a big difference. And so I can see how the making your entire company having that reflective look of quality makes a huge difference for your growth and everything like that. So, so how do you differentiate the good and the amazing? What's that little? How do you? I know you have that skill, and I'm not quite there. So, how do you figure out that fine tuning?
For their differentiator?
Yeah.
Something that's novel and different, but that's not, you want it to be novel and different, but it doesn't have to be completely disruptive. Folks are comfortable with things that are slightly different. They're not always comfortable with things that are radically different. So finding that in-between space where that people will respond to. The automotive gentleman, he had a little boy. His little boy comes and works with him at the dealership. He's like 4. It's not a dealership, but it's an automotive repair. Yeah. And it was like he was telling me, he said, yeah, because I started this because I really want to create something for my son. And he said, I want to build something. He himself is incredibly, and he has so much integrity. And when he said that, that really resonated with me. I said, okay, we're going to use that. We're going to use the fact that you are building this company for your son, and we're going to use the fact that you're giving over-the-top service. He comes to your house. If it's something that he can do at your house, he'll come to your house. You don't have to take your car in. Who does that?
No.
He has saved my tail end a couple times. We have 6 cars.
Very cool. Well, that's
yeah,
cool.
So I think that's made a big difference. He says people mention it all the time because it's in all his advertising practically.
And so, a lot of people are out there kind of like, well, I could just go to Fiverr and grab this thing or, or whatever. What do you say to somebody that's not really wanting to spend a little extra to get it done right?
Well, you can go to McDonald's or you can go to a 5-star restaurant. Both of them will feed you.
True.
One's going to be way better, and you're going to have a lot more memories of it.
Yes.
That's kind of a light view of it, but in a sense, it is what it is. I mean, the Fiverr guys are transactional. They're going to do one thing and leave. That's it. It's no different than a burger. You bought a burger? There you go. Bye. Whereas when you have a marketing company, one like ourselves that is full comprehensive, that we can do everything, then we act more as a marketing hub. And all of the design, all the creative goes through there. So we have that control and governance over all the brand to make sure everything looks great and the messaging is consistent and all of that is, perfect for your clients.
So it really becomes an experience.
Yeah, 30 years of it is mine. I think Susan's got 30 years. We've got it, like I said, we've got like 100 between us.
Yeah.
Because, go ahead.
And and what I guess what I meant more was like, like when you like the ambiance, like the experience of the actual building of the brand. It's more like, going into like into a theater, and there's, all these moving parts, and it's amazing and takes your breath away. And so that going to you is kind of that experiential. We're going to get into your brand. We're going to know your brand. We're going to help you experience your brand. We're going to help your clients experience your brand. And you put it all together. Whereas the other one is just like, oh, hey, I printed a lame lighthouse logo. Anyway, that's the way I picture it. So just because I know you and how amazing the work you do is. So for those that don't know, Rebecca is my go-to graphic person for any major big projects and things like that. So, something that I can't do on Canva in 5 seconds, that actually needs to look good. Then Rebecca.
It all needs to look good. I'm going to fuss at you for that one.
Okay. All right. I'm still learning. So, anyway, that's super awesome. So tell us a little bit about kind of your. You kind of have your graphic design as kind of almost like a extension of your lifestyle, and you kind of live in your dream farm type situation. I don't know how else to say that.
Farm that I'm neglecting because I'm too busy working.
Yeah, there you go. But I know you have a nice place down there, and tell us a little bit about kind of building a business while working and living in your kind of lifestyle there.
Well, I'm not exactly sure how to do it. The farm is not really a full-on farm. It's just a little hobby farm. We've kind of got Noah's Ark of animals: 2 horses, 2 goats, 2 dogs, 2 cats, 14 chickens, 4 kids, and a husband. so we're busy. We got lots to do all the time, and I'm fortunate that the lady who has her horses there takes care of the animals a lot, because since we have started this new trajectory with working with the larger clients and really helping people truly embrace the power of their brand, I've been heads down doing the marketing and prepping the marketing and letting people know that, make sure that if anybody wants resources, I have that resources page I was telling you about. If you go to our site and you sign up for the newsletter, which I don't really send out a newsletter, it's just the blogs, but it will link you to a resource page with over 400 or 500, I think it's like 400 things on it for businesses. So everything from HR to CRMs to extensions. I don't know if you've heard of that, like that one tab for Chrome. Have you seen that?
I've heard of it, but I haven't used it.
Oh, it's awesome. You can, like, let's say, when you open a whole bunch of windows, and you open all the windows, and then you want to keep them, but you can't, and so you end up putting them in a folder, and then they get lost. Well, this, you can just say, one tab it, and it saves it. And next time you go, you just click on that tab, and boom, all of them open back up again.
I'm grabbing that right away. I know. As soon as we get off.
Researching is a lot easier with that. There's a bunch of really great things on there that people can use.
Very cool. Well, good. Well, I wanted to just kind of have you just gave your website, but could you tell people where to find you again and how to track you down so that they can see the amazing work that you do?
Oh, great. Well, right now I'd push everybody toward the website, the neonlizardcreative.com. We just launched it recently, and we have 2 more launching this week. Of new websites for new clients, and they can follow us on LinkedIn. I'm all the time putting art and blogs and wisdom out on LinkedIn, because everybody needs a little something. I'm learning like crazy, and I try to share what I learned, because it's community over competition, so we all have to help each other.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And I just, again, I can't say enough about the quality work that Rebecca and her team do, and make sure you check her out. Go to neonlizardcreative.com. Again, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Give us some reviews on the podcast as well, and we will catch you on the next show. Thanks again, Rebecca.
Thank you.